take a look at what you got up here. Carly, how about the first one? All right, good. Hey, these first few just checking on just like some one-step cases, just making sure you understand. She's right. Solving for C. 4C written together, divide by 4, and all you do is C equals D over 4. Make sure it's written as a fraction. Do not do this. C equals D divided by 4. We don't, like in algebra, it's not easy to work with. We don't want to write it that way. We want to write it as a fraction. So keep it as D over 4. All right, solving for N. On that case there, what do we need to do? Emily, what do you think for that second one?
U plus 6M on both sides.
Okay, good. Now tell me what to write. Starting from the left.
Me still?
Yep, you still, sorry. Now wait a minute. Can you actually add those together?
No.
Nope. What's left over on the left-hand side?
It's N equals 8 plus 6M.
Good. Can't actually add those together. You don't have 14M because you got an 8. Doesn't have a variable with it. You got the 6M. Now, usually we want to write the variable first. This is okay because I wasn't specific. If you also wrote N equals 6M plus 8, that's fine as well. Either one. Now, the last one has more than one operation. You got to figure out what to do first. And I said earlier, add or subtract first. Move something left or right first before you divide. So, Ryan, what do you think we do for this third one?
You subtract 5R on both sides.
Okay, you subtract 5R. Now, these are all variables. You got a Q, you got an R, you don't have just a constant. So tell me what to write, Ryan.
2P equals Q minus 5R.
2P equals Q minus 5R. Agree with that? And now what do I still need to do?
Divide by 2 on all 3.
Yep, divide each piece by 2. Use that fraction. And so this is Q over 2 minus 5R divided by 2. 2 doesn't divide into any of them evenly. Okay, so we just leave it like that. So if you got that, you're good. All right. Key thing. Subtract that 5R first. Subtract that 5R first. All right, on your homework, look over those problems. Okay, because there's really no numbers in any of these. It's just all variables. And actually, let's see here. I had a couple that I had changed. I thought I had put those back on there, but I didn't. Okay. But see which ones from the answer key that you had issues with. Okay. Which one? Ellie, questions on any that you missed or any that we can go over?
Not really, because like I didn't do number 9 because I wanted to see if I got number 13 right with the pi, but then I got number 13 right, so the way that I would have done it would have been correct.
All right, so let's do real quick. I'm going to look at 9 and 13 there because the pi throws people off. Solve for R. C equals 2 pi R. You got to know that when they're written like that, they are all being what? 2 pi and R are all being multiplied. So even if there's more than 2 things, you can still divide by 2 or more things at the same time. So if I'm solving for R, divide both of those by 2 pi. C over 2 pi equals R, and I just like to reorder it. C divided by 2 pi. So 13, same thing. I got pi R squared H. These are all being multiplied. There's no pluses. There's no minuses. You don't see, they're not separated by plus or minus. So you divide by pi r squared. So we got that. And then just reorder it and put h first. H equals v over pi r squared. And not sure why that's in the way. Okay, for that. When you have something like number 10, I'm sure there was a lot of mistakes on like 10 and 11. That tends to be an issue. AX plus BY equals C. We're solving that for X. Whoops, hold on. All right, what do you think? How do we solve that one for X? Diana, what do you think?
Subtract BY.
Yep, subtract BY. I don't know what any of these variables are, but I got to get that by itself first. So worry about it. I got to get that AX by itself first. So subtract BY, and that gives me AX equals C minus BY. Can't combine them. And then you're subtracting there, so keep it in that order. Diana, what do you think I do after that? Now, hold on. Let me just, first I got that term by itself. Now I got to get the X by itself.
Divide A to R.
Divide each of those by A. And so that gives me X equals C over A minus BY over A. Nothing divides into it. Like there's no other way to write it. Again, write it as a fraction. So you get C over A minus BY. And those are kind of right now the hardest that we've dealt with. So if you're getting those consistently right, that's pretty good. Okay. Any other questions from you on here? All right, keep that paper out right now. This is something that you see. You'll see something similar to this on the test and something similar to this like on the OST. You see an equation written out. It's going to say find the mistake in the problem. I want to circle the first step where there's a mistake. And then we're going to figure this out. So first of all, here's what I want you to do. Copy that down, either on the back or somewhere of that homework. Copy that original problem down. Okay, now I want you to see if you can identify where the mistake is, and then we're going to end up fixing it. But right now, just look up here and see if you can tell me where the mistake is. Yes, you put them. They were back on my desk.
Oh, okay.
So you can take those for next.
Yeah, I'll bring them back. Thank you, sir.
Where is that mistake? Maddie.
They added 2R instead of subtracting.
Okay, so right here.
Yeah.
Okay, so I agree. Because right there, this is correct. 5R minus 5 equals 2R minus 26. A negative 8 and a negative 18 does give us negative 26. It says plus 2R. It should actually be minus 2R because that's a positive. So go ahead and you can copy it down to there and then go ahead and finish it correctly.
None, and you know what? No adjustment, no adjustments at all. They kept getting our it. It's like, I just, the thing that bothers me is like, defensive guy, it's like, your schem's not working. You need to change it. And they only have one plan.
Yeah, I haven't seen any of that. All right, so you're on from here. Now, what did you end up with for, did you get a final answer? Addie?
I got R equals -7.
You got -7. So let me take a look here. So we said 5R minus 5 equals 2R minus 26. And we said, all right, we're going to subtract 2R instead. And that gives me 3R minus 5 equals -26. Add 5. And you get 3R equals -21. Divide by 3. And we get R equals -7. So that would be correct. So sometimes when you make a mistake, you end up getting an answer where they, hey, that looks like a decent answer. But in this case, it doesn't work. If you would substitute it back in top, it wouldn't work. So we get R equals -7. That's what you should get for that one. All right, when's the test for chapter 1? Thursday. Okay, 80 points, which is a good amount of points. What we want to do today is we want to review solving absolute value equations. Now, Wednesday's a late start, so that means we don't have a full period. So we didn't want to have a test on a Wednesday. We weren't quite ready to have it on Tuesday. So we're going to review a little bit on absolute value equations. Get out a, we're even going to color a little bit. We're going to. If you don't have any colors, then you're going to have to learn how to shade and make it look like it's orange. Get out a sheet of paper, blank sheet of paper. You're going to do your work on this blank sheet of paper. So label that. Bless you. Bless you. Now, if you got some colored pencils, that'd be great. If you don't, then, we're not going to mark the whole thing off. But get out a clean sheet of paper, put your name on it, and something that you can turn in. So you're going to staple it to this worksheet. So pull it out of your spiral. You got a spiral. Don't start anything though yet. Even though you have your sheet, don't start anything. Oh, they did. It's one of those, you just saw it out. You just close enough to win it. You just felt it.
You know what? And that guy tried that.
He just bumped it.
It was right to him. He dropped it. He picked it up. He still could have. I thought he could have punted it, but he started running.
Yeah, I missed that play.
I didn't know what play I missed. 75-yard touchdown.
Oh, did you?
I didn't see it. It's like, come back and win. He scored.
Hey, all right, we're going to do 3 of them together. We're going to 3 of them together, not the first 3. So I want to do different levels of difficulty. Do those 3, then you'll go back and fill in from there. So on your sheet, let's actually do, we will, maybe 4. We'll actually start with number 1. Let's go ahead and do that one. Write that down.
We're going to start with 1.
Yeah, it's something. It's a new concept. We're
We're
going to try.
with 1, not 3.
We're going to go to number 1 first. Now it's the absolute value of x minus 12 equals 24. All right, do you remember how you solve these? Okay, good.
Anything in absolute value that's negative gets put into positive.
True. That'll be true. But we also kind of do this two different. We do this a little bit separate because we don't know what x is yet. Ava?
Make 2 equations with x minus 12 equals positive and negative 24.
Good. We want to make 2 equations. Once the absolute value is by itself, we make 2 equations and we drop the absolute value and we say x minus 12 is 24. And then you set it equal to the negative. X minus 12 is negative 24. Okay, so you do those 2. And now you solve those separately. for this one, there's only a step. You just add 12. 24 plus 12 is 36. Done with that one. And then I add 12 over here. And then I get negative 24 plus 12. But what's that?
12.
Negative 12. So it is negative 12. So now I got two answers. Now look how they have their answers. Possibilities. These are all possibilities. You got brackets. You get negative 12, 36, no solution, negative 36, 12, and 12. So you really got to watch where your negative is, or you're gonna see one of those answers. You're gonna think it's right. So we looked at our work and we said it was negative 12, 36. Now I want to see all your work on this paper, but over here, go ahead and circle the correct answer. Now I'd go ahead and do most of the work before I went back and colored, I think that might be the best route. All right, so that's number one. Let's drop down to number 6. Let's do number 6 together. Go ahead and just put number 6 right after number 1. Like you don't need to skip a bunch of room. Make sure you number these two. No, make sure you number your work. Number your work. Okay, so number 6, Zach, is it 4 times the absolute value of x minus 11
Yes.
equals what?
Equals 44.
Equals 44. All right, before you solve this, before you break it up into two cases, you need to get the absolute value by itself. It is not by itself because that 4 is on the outside. That means you're 4 times that. So how do I get rid of that 4? How do I move it to the other side? Okay.
Divide 44 divided by 4.
Yep, we're going to divide both sides by 4. So you need to do that. And that gives me the absolute value of x minus 11 equals 11. 44 divided by 4. Once you have it at this point, and only at this point, now you split it apart, and you're going to write x minus 11 equals positive 11, and x minus 11 equals negative 11. You set it equal to the positive and the negative once the absolute value is by itself.
Oh, it should be plus 11.
Is it plus 11
Yeah,
in
it is.
the okay, so make it plus. That's an easy fix then at least. Thank you. So plus 11. That was my fault. Now to solve it, you subtract 11. 11 minus 11 is 0. That's okay. That can be an answer. And subtract 11. And I get negative 22. So it looks like negative 22 is 0. Is that one of the answers they have? For number 6. So negative 22, 0. So actually, both the times they were the first ones. They're not always going to be the first ones. We should be good. We're going to do number 8, then number 9. Do 8 then number 9, then you're going to finish it. I'll make sure we do those. For number 8, oh, Alex, read that. What does it say?
For 8.
Yep.
4x minus 2 divided by 3.
Is that in absolute value? Equals what?
Negative 3.
All right, I don't have the absolute value by itself. Don't set anything equal. What do I got to do first? Multiply by what? The 3 on the bottom. Okay, so multiply by the 3 on the bottom. Now, what happens when I multiply by that 3 on the bottom? That cancels here, and I get absolute value of 4x minus 2 equals what? Negative 9. Everybody stop once you got that written. Do not go any further. You should not have to do any more work. Do not split it apart into 2. Anybody tell me why not?
Because it's a negative.
It's a negative. Do you know what our answer is?
No solution.
Anytime you got an absolute value equals a negative. Can an absolute value equal a negative? No,
Yeah.
never. So once you get the absolute value equals a negative, you say no solution. But you can only say that once the absolute value is by itself. So that one's no solution. Number 9 will not be. And I will go through that one. All right, let's do 9. Go ahead and write that one down. And Alex, again, help me out here.
-4 -10, but like absolute value.
Absolute value of, what is it?
-10.
-10 plus x?
Yep.
Okay. And then what?
-7.
Equals?
-103.
Okay, now right here, you cannot say no solution. Is the absolute value by itself? No, you got to get the absolute value by itself before you can do that, before we figure out whether we keep going. When you got this, we got a number that we're adding or subtracting and a number in front multiplying. Do the adding or subtracting part first, which means we need to move the 7, which means I do what?
Add it.
Add 7. So I'm going to do plus 7. And that gives me -4, absolute value, -10 plus x equals -103 plus 7. Is that -96? Somebody give me a confirmation.
It is.
It is. All right. What do I do now? Alex.
Divide -4 by -4, which cancels out, and then divide -96 by -4, which gives you a positive number.
Yep, we got to divide by -4 because we got that -4 on the outside. We do not have the absolute value by itself. And she said it will give us a positive number. So I got the absolute value of -10 plus x equals -96 divided by 4, which is positive 24. Positive 24. Now we're back to the problems from earlier. What do I do now? I got the absolute value equals a positive number. This is where we split it into what?
Pieces.
2 pieces. Yep, one equals positive 24. What's the other one equal? -24. So you gotta wait till it's all the way broken down to that absolute value by itself. So -10 plus x equals 24. -10 plus x equals -24. Since I just have an x, all I have to do is add 10. And it gets x equals 34. And then add 10 again. X equals -14. And I'm gonna hold my breath while you check to see if that answer is there. Is it?
Yeah.
Yeah, what's it say? Navy? I always carry Navy Koran with me.
You never know.
Never know. Okay. Now you notice they'll have no solution as an answer, so you gotta watch that you just can't, you just don't proceed without thinking through things. All right, you already have those 4 done. Go back, start with number 2. You don't need to redo the ones we've done. So you do 2, 3, 4. Put them on your sheet and just work all the way through. What you don't get done is homework. If you do get done, you can turn it in.
If they color it nice, we give them 1 point extra credit.
Heck yeah. Sure.
Do we have to color it to turn in?
No, you do not have to come. Because if you don't have, I know everybody doesn't have their 64 box.
Remember that was like the highlights going back to school.
Yeah,
Going to
you
get your
just-
crayons.
And
Am I going to get the 32 or the 64?
They were nice and
Nice and sharp.
Yeah, they weren't.
And crayon color, you didn't know what that meant. but you
Burnt
knew it was
sienna.
yellow.
Dude, burnt sienna. What else was in there?
This one.
Oh, did you see?
Goldenrod.
Like the. You can already like 3.
Oh yeah.
You can already just put it in 3x equals 6.
Sick of talking about it.
You don't have to do anything.
You know, that's the sheet. Watch the reference. I'm not gonna have that.
So what do you got? Negative 3x. Negative 3x equals 6. Negative 3x equals negative 6. Just make two equations, drop the absolute value. Negative 1 equals 6, and 1 equals negative 6.
You should put me in there.
That makes sense, yeah.
You're welcome.
What's that? Sandy? All right, we gotta work on something. You can't be going every day, so let go. But you can't go on every day.
Guys, if you get two answers or one and it's not there, it's like, you made a boo-boo. That's a
When you put
mistake.
it in further parentheses, like these ones, do you put the smaller one first?
That's all right. Wrong? What'd you say?